No echo. Where it come from?
Greetings and blessings to all my listeners and viewers out there on Fit FM 96.7, the Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube, the World Wide Web. I want to welcome you all to another exciting episode of Primal Sports Center. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Kane the Show Watson. And again, we're back in studio. It's been a while since both of us have been on the desk. It's been like almost 2 months because I've done shows with Peter, done shows with Frogger. I mean, I've been absent, you have been on the show, but I mean, we're back. And
we're
what a
back.
day it is.
Yeah.
Again, before we kick things off, because we have a jam-packed show, I want to wish you a happy, is it 55th birthday, Peter? 56
and counting.
Yeah, you know, we have to big up Primal host and his born day today. So you have to big up yourself first of all to kick things off. And we're back in the island. We had a long week off the island in Barbados, but we'll dive into that later on the show. We have a jam-packed show where we'll talk some basketball, not only NBA, because you know Jamaican people are used to just the NBA talk and watch NBA, but our own local basketball and our own Jamaica team. As we have two esteemed guests today, where we have Coach Rick Turner of the Jamaica basketball team and the President of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Mr. Paulton Gordon. They'll be on in about 3 or 4 minutes. And then later on the show, we talk some football, because you know the Reggae boys. Oh boy. I would say a disappointing Gold Cup, but we're looking forward to World Cup.
What a seesaw thing, though. At one point, we thought that, man, I'm on the right track. No, it seems as if we're off track.
I never really thought they were on the right track, but I just think that we're going
for
to World Cup.
Last two...
The track that we're on is that, I mean...
It was looking up and up then.
And
it was looking much better than before.
But yet still, we said on the show that we shouldn't be only looking to qualify for World Cup. We should be looking to come out to our group, go to our quarterfinals. Because we see where USA and Mexico has been to quarterfinals at the World Cup. Round of 16, we're just looking to qualify. I think that we're better than that.
But maybe we have to be realistic now, right? At this point in time.
That's why I'm just saying, I think we're going to qualify for the World Cup.
It's just a qualification thing for us this time around.
And also, the hottest thing in the island right now, going on at the National Stadium, is the National Track and Field Trials. I mean, to make the World Championship team later in the year for Tokyo. Also, the juniors are there competing to make their respective events going on. And I mean, last night was a buzzing stadium where we see, I mean, perennial stars like Shelly and Sharika to the upcoming guns where we have the Clayton twins and Ryan Level and, I mean, you name it, a plethora of stars at the stadium yesterday, and we break that down for you later in the show. At the midway point, you know, we have the controversy boss. And we have an hour and a half show today, as we bring it live, an overtime show. Yeah, and we have Frog in 5 later in the show, although I think that should be extended because he's talking a lot in the group, and I hope he can come on in the show and express that same verve, that same energy, and give it to you, because, I mean, talking from football to track and field, he gives us some insightful information, and he'll bring it to you later on in the show and give his intake, whether it is, I don't know, it's a mad scientist or a genius. Somewhere on the border, right? Because sometimes you say some things, it's part, man, and the next time I'm like, come on, guy, what you really say? But we have Froggy in 5 later on the show. And do remember, we want some call-ins today, people. And the number is later on the show, after we run our interview, is 615-433-5674. We run that for you later on the show again. And do feel free to call in. You can call in and tell us, I mean, something we might miss interviewing the host, in our guests. I mean, something controversial boss will say later on the show. I mean, I don't want to steal him thunder, but I know I'm going to come with something later on. But it's good to be back in studio.
Yes, it's good to be back.
We're going to kick things off with basketball there.
Yeah, as usual.
I mean, Game 7 was on Sunday, and I mean, it was, I wouldn't say a disappointing Game 7, but Thunder came out on top 103-91. I myself wanted the Pacers to win based on the whole underdog story, and growing up around the Knicks, Pacers rival scene, Reggie Miller and Patrick Ewing. Thunder is, wouldn't say a new franchise, they switched up from Seattle Supersonics, but OKC Thunder is more of a new franchise.
Yeah.
Both teams going for somewhat their first title. Although Seattle Supersonics won back in the day, but not under the same umbrella to me.
It's different.
It's kinda
It
different.
wouldn't have been the same if it was Indiana winning the title.
And Oklahoma City is the first title to go to Oklahoma City, an NBA title.
Yeah.
I mean, the same franchise, but
I was happy for either team. It didn't matter to me. Strictly because of the brand of basketball that I saw in the finals. You know, we got rid of all of the 3-point shooting, and we saw more inside out. We saw more flair, more, you know, not just one way, one type of way of playing. Yeah. So I was kind of happy.
A basketball aficionado.
Yeah, man, I was happy. Maybe.
Talking about old school basketball.
Yeah. I saw a bit of old school coming back. And what I like is that the ref allowed them to play a little bit more aggressive. Yeah. I don't like just to see the score 150, 140. Want to see a low scoring game.
Barton Celtics shooting 53 pointers.
And 60. 50, 60.
Not only from a fun standpoint, but even as a purist, people who play the game, you don't want to just see people just jack up. And even from a coaching standpoint, and I guess we have a coach on the show.
Yeah, we'll definitely ask
what do you
about that.
think about this NBA whereby people just shooting threes from where?
Yeah.
And we see the better teams, or the teams that shoot less three, go deeper in the playoffs.
Yeah.
With the inside basketball, and you have to
I think it's just common sense, you know. I mean, yeah, if you eliminate the entire mid-range point, the entire mid-range area of the court, there's a lot of things that you're omitting from your game. You know, you can't just be a 3 or a down.
I prefer to play from the inside, go out if necessary, than just playing outside.
There's a lot more advantages, you know, foul trouble.
Especially if you're wide open,
you can shoot a three you put the team in foul trouble. There's a lot more things to it than just, you know. So I was happy. I was definitely.
You have bigs in the paint, foul trouble. Put the bigs on the bench, and then you have an advantage. And we see where OKC Thunder first 2 games starting small, and then they go back to the 2 bigs. I think that's where the series even changed back to OKC and the coach. I was wondering what he was doing. How can you start this? You
have an advantage and giving up your advantage.
You have 2 so-called twin towers that.
And it's not your regular twin towers. A lot of people say, them can't guard on the perimeter. It's not your regular twin towers. These guys, they can move their feet. They're very agile. So I don't see why would you want to give up your advantage. Come the NBA finals. You've been starting them the whole season. Now you come and you make a change.
If you didn't make that switch, I think they would be in deeper trouble.
To be honest with you, I think Halliburton going down in Game 7. That's what kind of.
I thought.
It would have been a close game.
I think Thunder would have still come out on top.
Yeah.
Because even so, the start of the game, we saw Halliburton was limping.
Yeah.
And he was playing off Nemard more, and he didn't carry up the ball. So that injury played a big part, even though he was injured going into the game and going down. But going into OKC and winning that game 7 would always be tough. But the game probably would have been closer with a healthy Halliburton.
Yeah, definitely.
Hats off to OKC Thunder, and I said we're going to dive more into NBA and
basketball. And we're going to keep it flowing because right now we're going to introduce our guest. We have the coach
of the Jamaica basketball team,
Rick Turner. And we have Paulton Garden, who is the president of the Basketball Association here in Jamaica. Welcome both of you to Primal Sports Center.
Thanks for having us, gentlemen.
Yeah, man. To kick things off, when we talk basketball, everybody talks about NBA in Jamaica. Most people aren't attached to our own basketball team, but we see where that is growing. And even so, players from the NBA, or players that play in the NBA, are now representing the Jamaica basketball team. And looking forward, we have the FIBA pre-qualifiers in August. Is that right?
Yeah, that will be in August 8 to 10.
And that's what's up next for Jamaica basketball, because we're now in June going to July. So break that down for us for the FIBA pre-qualifiers coming up in August. Like, who are we in groups with? What are we expecting? And then if we do qualify, what's next? And then where the road takes us to that FIBA games.
All right. Well, let's start with what happens in probably next weekend.
Yeah.
We have an open trial, and Rick will add some fluff to what I'm saying. We have an open trial. I think we have almost 100 persons registered for that open trial. Probably 60 or 70% of them coming from overseas.
Oh.
After the open trial, after it's narrowed down, we'll have a training camp, more than likely in Boca, for about 5 or 6 days, and then we go off to the tournament in Mexico, between the 8th and 10th of August. So, in a general sense, that's what the calendar looks like in the immediate future. Rick, you could probably add a little bit more detail there.
Yeah, well, Rick, welcome. The president has mentioned open trials. That kind of click in my mind.
I want to make it 1-on-1.
Yes, because
I have a jump shot,
Yeah. When you say a trials, no, like how would you select? Well, we know in individual sports is wins and losses, But for team sport like basketball, like how would you select the players from an open trials kind of setup?
Yeah, well, we put this together. This is really more for a chance for us to identify some guys that maybe we weren't aware of. There's a FIBA rule that we've tried to impress upon people as much as we can that states you have to have been born in Jamaica or obtained a passport by the age of 16 in order to participate. And there's no database that we can go to and find who falls into that category, so they kind of have to identify themselves to us. So this is an opportunity for us to open it up. We've told all the local players, for as long as Paulton and I have been involved, we've told the local players that they're going to have every opportunity to earn spots on the most competitive team that we can put together, and we're following through on that promise. But we also want to try to find overseas players that maybe weren't on our list, that slipped through the cracks, that obtained a passport before the age of 16 or happened to be born in Jamaica. And so that's why we did this trial. And like Paulton said, we got a great response. 100 have registered. We'll see how many of them show up. But regardless, it's going to be a good turnout. It's going to be a great weekend of basketball. And then it's going to lead into something that promises to be a lot of fun and potentially history making for basketball in the country. And that's this tournament for us coming up in August in Mexico. So we are really focused on getting everything together, dotting all our I's, crossing all our T's, trying to put the best group together that we can for Mexico. And from there, just see what happens.
All right. So you said Mexico is August 8th to the 10th, you said? August
Right.
8th to the, yeah. So in that tournament, tell us who will be facing the tournament. Do we know the matchups are, what group we're in? And break it down for us, the tournament.
Yeah, so there's 8 teams that are trying to qualify for 4 spots. They've divided those 8 teams into 2 pools, and out of each pool, 2 teams will come. We go to Mexico. We will play Mexico, Costa Rica, and Barbados. We need to finish in the top 2 in order to advance to the World Cup qualifier, which starts in November of 2025. The other pool is in Chile, and it's Chile, Paraguay, Ecuador, and El Salvador. Those and 2 teams will advance out of that pool as well.
And then after both teams advance out of both groups, what's next after that? Where do these 4 teams advance to?
Yeah, well, this is where it gets tricky, man, because as a coach, you don't like to look ahead too much.
Well, true.
Like we want to be focused on August and make sure that we're doing everything we can to advance out of that. But I understand the question and I appreciate it.
In a nutshell, though, it then leads to windows, similar to football, where we have a window in November, another window at February of 2026, June of 2026, November of 2026, and then the teams that will have emerged from that will go to the 2027 Qatar World Cup. Okay. The teams that are awaiting us are the ones that are already seeded from South America, Central America, Caribbean, and North America.
Okay. So we're not a seeded team so far. We have to work our way up and get our seeding up.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So we're sort of like the dark horse going into the tournament to build up and go all the way. So the end game is 2027 Qatar, as you said, the World Cup for basketball.
And that puts you in a position now for Olympics as well.
Okay. 2028 Los Angeles.
Yeah, we've heard some rumors about a couple of these stars from the NBA wanting to represent Jamaica this time around. Will they be a part of this camp? This
The word rumor is strong though, but
Yeah. Well, I think he's alluding more to the Thompson twins, but I did my research and there are
Yeah.
3 NBA players currently on the roster right now, which is Norman Powell, Josh Minot, and Nick Richards. Would they be in this window going to Mexico August 8 to 10? Are they available?
pretty much that's the hope. We have been in touch with all 3. We have been in touch with all 3. The other persons that you quote unquote heard rumors about, they're in the
Yes.
process of
Okay.
getting their citizenship and their documentation, because we are confident that over the next 2-3 years, there might be some shift or some changes in terms of eligibility. And so we are pushing to ensure that everybody who is connected and can ultimately represent Jamaica in a position to do
I
so.
want to represent Jamaica
Yeah.
because,
Right.
you know, in
So
other
we
sports,
can
it's people-
expand on current
Yes.
situation in terms of the roster.
Yeah, because in other sports, I see people going to Turkey. So I was wondering what they would come and compete for Jamaica. I mean, we're in the black, green, and gold. You know, that's for us is a privilege. So I mean, some people have their different stances on that, but given the nature of what's going on and where Jamaica basketball is going, it seems as if things are on the up. And we touch on Mexico, but locally, give us the structure of what's going on here locally with basketball. Because, when people talk basketball in Jamaica, they just tend to, all right, NBA, let's go and watch this game 7 finals or this playoff game. But yet still, we have local talent here and people come from here, just like Nick Richards, who came from Calabar, was it, or Jamaica College, I'm not sure.
JC.
Yeah, I don't really follow those schools, if you understand. I know it's one or two of them. But yeah, Nick Richards, homegrown talent. And not only the talent that who were born in Jamaica or brought of Jamaican parentage, but there's talent here. So tell us the structure of the basketball here and if there's any other Nick Richards coming up.
Well, a lot of persons don't realize that we have approximately 20 or 25 persons who actually have scholarships on a yearly basis. Junior colleges, high school, Division II colleges, etc. So quite a few Jamaican players actually leave Jamaica on a yearly basis, primarily through our KFC Star Search camp and through the high school competitions and acquire scholarships to the USA. So that gives us a platform. But locally, what we're trying to do, this administration is now trying to focus a lot on our grassroots basketball.
Yeah.
And one of the mandates that we have is to expand basketball to at least 60 new primary schools over the next 2 to 3 years. And we've started that process. And the connection and the partnership with Mali, Bob and Rita Mali Foundation, will enable that sort of activity. And they're now a full-fledged partner. So we're looking at the grassroots program. And concurrently, we want to ensure that what happens at the grassroots level and the elite level are quite balanced. We are, as it relates to other activities, we are now wrapping up our NBL, National Basketball League. The finalists are Urban Knights and Upper Room Eagles from off Barbican Road. So those are the 2 teams that are in the finals. Game 1 was last week, Thursday, which Urban Knights won. And game 2 is expected to be on Tuesday. So there's robust activity in terms of the domestic situation and the high school level. We started at the primary school level. Just after the NBL is done, we'll have the community leagues in and across Kingston and St. Catherine. And we're trying to keep basketball front and center to the Jamaican audience, in front of the Jamaican audience.
Yeah, I can remember back in the 90s where we had a goal. We had a goal, the rim set up on the light post in almost every community back in the days. And I noticed we don't really see that as much anymore. So I really hope that we can really bring back that kind of vibes back to Jamaica. Well, I know it was because of MJ anyway. Back in the 90s, we had rims all over the place. Anyway, you could have put one up here to see, even the crate.
Yeah.
It was to cut out the crate and stick it up.
That's not only basketball, even cricket and football used to play more in the streets, cricket, but the kids nowadays are more into the game. But on that note, we know that we're not short on talent here in Jamaica, and I'm sure, as I said, with these leagues and scholarships, because my high point of what Mr. Gordon just said was the scholarships. And
Yeah, it's
scholarships to
important.
junior colleges is very important to get the kids active and, I mean, opportunities for them to go colleges out here, whether it's UTech, UWI, or even go abroad, junior colleges.
Make the
and-
transition to
Yeah,
the league
because
or whatever. It's
we
just
look at basketball as only just NBA, but there are leagues all across the world in Greece, Spain. If you look at Luka Doncic, he came from the Spanish league. I mean, I see former NBA players playing leagues in Greece and all over the world. So if we could get players out and push out on
So
scholarships,
Rick can give you an idea how many players
Yeah.
we have playing in Europe.
I have one more thing though before we go to that. I've heard of a camp, which would have included the Spurs point guard, the shooting guard
Devin
from
Vassell.
Spurs, Devin Vassell. I
Right.
heard-
So
yes, I
Devin
heard that
is-
we're planning to host a camp here in Jamaica. Is that concrete or is that just rumors again?
No, Devin will be arriving the island this weekend, and we have
Okay.
a camp at Herbert Morrison on Monday. At
Monday.
Herbert Morrison. So we're going to invite some kids from the Western schools to be a part of that. He has some Nike giveaways, and we'll donate those to the kids. He's primarily here on vacation. His dad is Jamaican, so it's another way of connecting him back to Jamaica. And he's about to start his process as well.
Okay.
Another NBA player.
Okay, so this is it private? Or anybody can come and watch at Herbert Morrison on Monday?
You have a camera, so you can turn up.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, because even so, this is being aired in the western side. 'Cause
Yes.
we're also on a radio station in Trelawney, and I mean, people could be interested to go on and see what's going on in there in Herbert Morrison.
It's a 2-hour camp, 11 to 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll invite some of the kids that we have targeted or spoken to the coaches on the western side who participate in the ISA competitions, and we have identified a few of the kids to actually turn up for that particular camp.
Okay.
Jamal Murray wants to do that in August, and Nick is coming down to do that at Jamaica College in August as well.
Wow, that's nice.
I
Jamal.
know Jamal Murray, his
Yeah.
father is also Jamaican.
Yeah, his dad is also Jamaican.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes.
there are a lot of Jamaican ties there in NBA. And as they said, Mr. Turner, you can also give us a rundown of the Jamaicans are playing all around the world in different leagues, as Mr. Gordon just said a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys were talking about that, I have interesting thoughts that I think go beyond basketball. And some of those, things are the opportunities that show up for kids that are able to get a education when they go off the island for basketball. And, maybe it doesn't work out for them in a professional standpoint, but they're able to come back with a great education, and they bring that back to Jamaica, and they're able to do great things professionally. And so, this basketball that we're doing, we want to compete at the highest level possible, but we want to grow the sport so we can increase those opportunities. And it's just not focused on basketball. It has a bigger meaning for kids and for the country itself, for people to get an education and to learn all the skills and traits that it takes to be successful on a professional level. But yeah, we've got fantastic players spread out all over the world. Some of whom have already been invited to our training camp in Boca, but they're playing in Europe and in Asia and South America. One of the other cool things that Mr. Gordon talked about when we first started this conversation is, as we finally had something to point toward in August, we discovered that there's a lot of people in the NBA and around the world and other leagues that want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And so, you talked about Devin Vassell, who is now coming down to give back to the community down here with kids. You guys talked about the Thompson twins, who have publicly stated that they want to be a part of this. And there's a bunch of others as well. So we think it's only going to continue to grow. We got to do our part in August and back up,
Yeah.
the checks that our mouth is writing. We got to back those up in August. But if we're able to do that, there's some really exciting times ahead for Jamaica basketball. And one of those exciting things is the fact that we'll have an opportunity, if we advance out of August, to host 3 big time meaningful games in the country, in those 3 windows that Paulton talked about. So it's pretty exciting for us.
Yeah. And everything is, as I said, geared towards August to get things done. But how long have you been coach of the Jamaican setup?
Well, I've been coming to Jamaica for 25 years. In fact,
Wow.
I started with I do youth camps in at the National Stadium through an organization called Jump Ball, and I've been doing that for 25 years. And my camp starts a week from Monday, actually, and that is free for kids and it's open to anybody. We get about 300 kids that week, and then we do 6 rural camps around the islands. And then, I've been coaching around the world for 30 years and have had an eye on what I thought Jamaica basketball could be. And over the course of that time, talked to various people within leadership in Java. And I think the timing worked out. In 2019, Mr. Gordon gave me an opportunity to put my money where my mouth is. And I'm a little bit like the dog that finally caught the car
Yeah.
because, he said yes. And now I'm like, okay, now what do we do? So,
Yeah.
so we've been
Yeah.
working on it ever since. The COVID hit us in 2020, like it did the rest of the world. And that kind of set us back a little bit. But once we started coming out of that, we were building some momentum, and it's all led to this point.
It sounds like you're part Jamaican because I mean you've been around Jamaican setup for a while, and I like that analogy. So it sounds like Mr. Gahad has converted that to the Jamaican side, and I like how direct you are on things, and you're looking straight ahead and focused on August. And I said,
Tell it.
all these, yeah.
Yeah, man. And is there any young bright star that you see might have potentially getting a contract in one of these big leagues someday, right here in Jamaica? One
Who is
or
that?
two
Can you be more specific with the question? Are you talking about high school
local
kids
player,
or?
like homegrown kids
Any,
here. Is there any potentials to represent us in the NBA from here in Jamaica, here from the schools or the communities?
like probably next Nick Richards.
Yeah,
So to
next
say.
Nick Richards, and next, you see any talent here
Daily
that
is
can,
stuck on homegrown talent. 'Cause
yeah,
a lot of the times when we
Yeah.
talk about reggae boys, they want to feature players from our
yeah,
homegrown team.
yeah.
And with the likes of basketball, we want players
Any
here that we can
potentials, any potential,
associate.
yeah.
Typically, what happens, Skin, is that emerging from the East Under 19 competition,
Yeah.
these kids transition into the university overseas.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very hard to judge until they start establishing themselves at the Division One
Okay.
NCAA level, and that's where we start to really monitor them. Somebody like Kofi Coburn, he did very well at Louisiana over the last. Well, I think he graduated 2022 or 23. Kofi just signed a contract in Japan. He's going to play professionally in Japan. He was in South
Okay.
Korea, doing very well. He's moving to Japan in September. He was on the radar. He signed a short NBA contract. He was on the radar, but there were some other issues, and he decided to move to Europe, establish himself, and doing very well in Europe. And chances are he might be coming back this side in another year or two. But he's one of the brighter stars that emerged through the system, and really, really was a top-notch player in the NCAA.
Okay.
'Cause
And
If I could just tack onto that, because Walter makes a great point. When you look at a guy like Romaro Gill, from the Portland area, who came to basketball at a really late stage. He's 7'2", 7'3", and someone saw him and said, "Hey, you should be playing basketball." And basketball wasn't even on his radar. And, he was 16, 17, 18 years old when he started playing. He had an opportunity to go overseas and play, and he took advantage of that opportunity. He ended up playing at Seton Hall University, where he was the Big East Defensive Player of the Year. He played with the Utah Jazz in their summer league. He's going to be a part of our program here in August. But so much of it is just getting that opportunity to get into a system, into a place where you're getting to play year round. You're getting the coaching that you need. You have the facilities at your disposal that you can use, and then you just take all your natural Jamaican abilities all the winning attitude and the hard work and the perseverance and the passion that Jamaicans naturally possess and bring to everything. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself, it's just exploding onto the scene. And so to try to point out single individuals, for me at least, I would hate to bring up names and leave other names out.
Yeah, I understand.
But like Paulton said, just kids who get that opportunity, um, a lot of times are kind of late bloomers when it comes to Jamaica basketball and getting the chance to go overseas. What we need to do about that, and this is even a longer range goal, is we need to improve the things that we're doing in Jamaica to prepare those kids, um, for when they get that opportunity. It doesn't take quite as long, and that comes with preparing our coaches and getting better facilities and just everything that goes involved with the infrastructure of basketball. And that's part of the overall goal for the program as well.
Yeah.
Sounds.
Boy, to the amount of people coming here to try to represent Jamaica, coach, you have a tough job in selecting that team.
It's going to be a tough job, but you know what? It's going to be a fun job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
what
nice
we-
because you want competition. You like to have this host of talent to narrow it down to a committed squad. that
Yeah,
everybody's on board.
we've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, over a decade, really.
And
And
hopefully
this is
more
our
people
chance.
come on and join on
This
board.
is-
As I said, once it grows, you're going to see more and more persons coming out and want to represent Jamaica as well.
Yeah. All right, we have a lot of changes in basketball. If you were listening at the start of the program, we were discussing the basketball from the 90s and early 2000s to the basketball now. Now, you're the expert, so give us your opinion on the changes in the game. And is it good, or you think it can be more of a balance?
Yeah. Well, I was listening to your conversation, and I was interested and fascinated by it. And I think
The hard business guys,
I think I show my age when I talk about this, because I tend to agree with you guys. What the NBA has evolved into, while it is it's impressive, the skill set that these guys possess, and there's no doubt, there's no getting around how just fabulously talented these players are. The game itself is so much different than the game that I grew up with. It sounds like maybe the game that you grew up with as well. There's no back to the basket post play anymore. It's virtually non-existent. It's disappeared from the game for the most part. You shoot threes or get lands or dunks. I love the mid-range game. Analytics has changed the game in a way that says that mid-range jumper is about the worst shot you can take in basketball. So I miss that part of it. I wouldn't mind if we did away with the 3-point line entirely, but that makes me sound like the guy that says,
Our executive producer agrees with you. He says he's done a show all the while that we need to go away the 3-point line and just score by twos and ones, because it's killing the game. That's his take. And I mean, coming from the coach of the national team, I mean, he sounds impressive now. Because we didn't want to give him props,
There was a Celtics playoff game, I think, this year, where the Celtics themselves took 53s in the game.
Horrible.
And that, as a fan, basketball, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree, basketball is for the fans.
Yeah.
You're selling tickets, you're selling corporate sponsorships, and you're selling TV rights, and from a personal standpoint, as a fan, I don't like watching a team jack up 53s.
Nobody here likes it. Nobody in studio. And he's the right man for the job. Based on what he's telling me, he's the right man for the job.
Shoot a bunch of mid-range twos. I'm not sure that's the right. I don't know that that's the right thing.
Jamaica basketball, because for us, we say it all the while on the show, and even so, the two teams that made it to the finals tend to go to the basket or shoot mid-range jumpers more often so than just jacking up threes. So, I mean,
well, don't let that be our motto. Don't let that be our motto. Jamaica basketball, we set the game back 20 years. That's not going to be our motto.
Yeah. No problem. I mean, we're going to get the results.
All right, I'm asking you as a coach now. being that the game has evolved and it reached to this point in terms of threes, now how do you prepare your players? Do you give them a balance in terms of letting them understand, how important the mid-range era is, as well as shooting threes? How do you prepare the new generation athlete for
Yeah, no,
basketball?
that's an interesting question. And the FIBA game isn't the same as the NBA game. I mean,
No.
they've evolved similarly, but the FIBA game is more focused on bigs. We have an advantage because we have some really talented big men, and so I'm excited to get a chance to see how to put them to the best use possible. But at the end of the day, you take a look at your roster, and for me, at least for my own philosophy, you want to build what you're doing around the talent of those you have.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to try to make guys fit into my particular system, but we're gonna find something that works for the rosters that we have and play to the strengths of those guys. When you have a guy like Norman Powell on your team, you're gonna try to find ways to get the ball in his hands and in areas where he likes to score. And he is a guy that can shoot the mid range, but he was also in the NBA 3-point contest this year. He's been one of the top players in the league for the last couple of years. He has an NBA championship under his belt. So that experience and that leadership, you want to just nurture that if you can. And then guys like Nick Richards, who can operate in the block. He also is a good passer out on the perimeter. Josh Minot, who you guys mentioned, is a great slasher. He is an incredible athlete. He's a fantastic defender. For us, things are going to start on the defensive end, and hopefully we can create opportunities through our defense. But there's a lot to learn over the next couple of weeks about the guys we have, and we're going to figure out how to put them in the best position possible.
I like when you stated start from a defensive end, because here on the desk we support defense, because that's where we think strong offenses come from. And we keep saying defense win championships, and I mean, as I said, Norman Powell probably would have the green light to shoot trees, but not Nick Richards. I don't want to see Nick Richards shooting no 3-pointer, which I've seen him done for the Phoenix Suns before. But I mean, you play to your strong suits, and I mean, right now, Josh Myers, as I said, with a slasher, but it looks good. And I mean, with your mindset and what you're saying to me, defensive schemes, back to the basket, mid-range jumpers. I mean, Jamaican basketball in good hands. I know Mr. God want to carry it to where.
Who's your number one big of all time? The number one big man of all time.
Are you talking to me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, coach. Yes, coach. Start with the
Well, I
coach.
guess I'd have
President
to put a little thought into that, but I worked for the Seattle Sonics for 10 years, and we were in the same conference with Akeem Olajuwon, and we faced him
Sean Kemp.
a lot of times. And Akeem has always been one of my favorite bigs in terms of, especially back to the basket type of guys with the dream shake, and he had all the counters to all the moves. And another guy that we faced a lot was Karl Malone. Not your traditional really back to the basket center type of player, but he could expand out as well. But those two guys off the top of my head, I mean, you can go back. Obviously, I never saw Wilt Chamberlain play, but anyone that can score 100 points in a game has to be mentioned. There's so many really good bigs out there, but the game is kind of evolved away from that kind of play.
But don't you think though? But Akeem, don't you think Akeem could have
most underrated player for me all time is Akeem.
Akeem?
Yeah,
Akeem.
to me he should be rated high. Although he's rated highly, I think he's always should be in the conversation of one of the greatest bigs, because his skill set both on the offense and defensive end to me is unrivaled. He has his own move, plus on the defensive end, who's the all-time leading blocks. And I mean,
And
Akeem for me
Akeem could excel in today's game.
Yeah, any game, any era.
Akeem shoot threes too.
Well, he was a former footballer, so he had great feet and he was a great athlete.
Which one of the footballs, Rick?
Huh?
That's our football or yours?
That's your football. He was a great soccer player.
Okay. We lost them?
The guy gets
Did we lose them?
freezing.
Freezing up there.
No, it's at their end.
No, you're good.
You're good. We're hearing you. Yeah. So I mean,
You hear it, Rick?
Yeah, I hear you.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Say it again. Did you have a question for me? I
Freeze.
didn't hear it.
oh, okay. Oh. No, we thought the communication freeze a while, but yeah, I agree with Hakeem Olajuwon. I think he's one of the best big men. I mean, not to mention, I mean, Shaq was dominant. Shaq was more power, but in terms of and in and around the rim on both ends of the circuit.
Yeah, no, man, definitely the dream. And the dream can make could have played today.
Yeah. So,
The
I mean,
fact
I
that the
guess
dream
you
can
both
shoot,
agree.
the dream can play inside, outside, him can play anywhere in the court. And
I
the
don't see
dream,
him as a liability
yeah.
on no end of the court. In a pick and roll, I mean, guarding a smaller.
I'm probably one of the greatest defenders of all time
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, blocks.
in terms
overall,
of stats.
steals, blocks. I mean, I think he could get a quadruple double almost every other game, given the competition. I mean,
Well, he was also part of my favorite college team of all time, and that was the Phi Salama Jama
Rocket,
group from Houston.
Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, Akeem did him thing. But coach, your pick, your pick, Prezi, your pick.
I'm surprised I'm not hearing even Shaq in the discussion.
I know Shaq was gonna go with
Shaq is
it.
dominant. Shaq is dominant. And I'm a Laker fan, but you know.
But
Right,
Shaq never looked good though.
No, he has his
Shaq
limitations.
didn't look good.
He has his limitations.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
dominant.
But he was dominant. He was dominant.
Yeah, the most dominant. I mean, unstoppable.
Right.
But I mean, when you look at the complete package,
Right.
I'll give Akeem the edge. But in terms of dominance,
Yeah.
you can't compete with Shaq.
And we
Getting
need
the
to
ball
insert a
and-
little, and we need to insert a little bias. What about New York Knicks and our own person?
Patrick Ewing. Yeah. I mean,
Ewing was not quite there, but I put him one a little bit below those guys.
if
But-
Ewing had been that game 7 and then would have gotten a ring.
Nah, Ewing wasn't in that level. Level. No.
Patrick had that mid-range jumper. Patrick
Patrick was good, but not at that level.
at Hakeem.
Nowhere near
He
Hakeem.
wouldn't be my top pick, but I had to mention him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, well, I mean,
There's a player that I always tell people that this is for both the coach and president. Penny Hardaway. Because if you mention Akeem, you'd have been around for Penny as well.
Yeah.
I telling people that I think Penny is better than LeBron. His skill sets, speed, what he was doing at
As
that
you
point
can
in
see,
time.
He's deep
But
into basketball.
what are your thoughts on
He's
Penny
enjoying
Hardaway?
it.
Sam never get injured after the third year in the league. What are your thoughts on Penny?
Here's what I would recommend you do. You get Josh Minot on your program, and you can talk about Jamaica basketball with Josh, and then you can slide into Penny Hardaway talk because Penny was Josh's college coach at Memphis. Yeah, so Josh is pretty familiar with Coach Hardaway.
But Josh
A great
say,
player.
Josh did say that's why he went to Memphis.
Because of Penny?
Yeah, he wanted to learn from Penny.
Well,
Yeah, I think he's underrated. I think Penny was.
Just went on the right track then, because if you follow my co-host, he's sold on Penny.
No, I
Back in those
think
days,
well,
he's
when I
sold on
used to watch Penny, I think Penny have all the moves. Could pass the ball, could shoot, had a post game, was just as quick. I think Penny was a real deal, even more than Grant Hill. People used to big up Grant Hill a little bit more, but I think Penny was, is smaller than LeBron, but his skill sets to me, off the chains, man. I
Extremely versatile, very versatile player.
He could shoot, slash, pass. I don't know why Shaq leave him. I think Shaq would have gotten more ring with him than Kobe.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Kobe's an upgrade to Penny if you ask me.
An upgrade?
Yeah, Kobe's
I
an
disagree with that
upgrade.
one.
No, Kobe's an upgrade.
No, I disagree.
We all have our opinion.
Well, anyway, all the best. I know we have the match coming up.
So we're looking forward
qualification
to
matches.
FIBA qualifications August 8th to 10th. As you guys told me, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Barbados. Coach, we're getting through that group. I know we're getting through that group. And I mean,
I hope so. That's our intention.
yeah.
And all
And then once we do, let's talk again.
Definitely. I mean, Mr. Gordon, we know him personally, so we line up that. Hopefully, we can get Josh Manaton as well.
So, coach and president, thanks for coming on. But I want to ask you guys a question. As you can see, our host, this guy's a national table tennis champion. This guy's a national coach. I myself was a former player. Who are the world-class table tennis players you guys admire?
You know,
That's a joke,
I
guys.
no, I got to tell you something though. I coached a year in China, and
Oh.
our very first game, we played in southern China, and we trained at a table tennis academy.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen anything like that before. And so we walked in the door, and for as far as your eyes can see, were table tennis tables, I guess. Just
Yeah.
all, it looked like 100 of them. And there was
Yeah.
one guy in there just working on his serve. And then off to the side, they had a basketball gym where we went and practice. But I did get a chance to watch a lot of table tennis when I was in China, and it's impressive and
Amazing, coach.
not,
Yeah, my
not my
respect.
game. Not my
Amazing.
game.
Amazing. Amazing.
I'll go with off it as well.
Good pick. Second Kane Watson. Second pick Kane Watson.
You can't miss
But
it, Darvin.
Ken, when I was I think I played against Peter's brother when I was at Taylor Hall. His brother
Oh,
was
really?
his brother was at Irving, and I played with
Yeah, he's here in the studio right now.
I
He's
played
here
with
in the
Sammy.
studio right now.
I played with Sammy for Taylor Hall.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You remember him, Joel? You remember Paul? Yeah, my brother said so. Give you his regards. Small world.
Yeah, I actually played for Taylor Hall against Irving Hall with
Amazing.
Hubert, and I think your brother was there, and I tried to
Yeah.
remember the other guy.
Donald Salmon.
No, Simon played on Taylor Hall.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Salmon was
too.
on Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Good thing we squeezed out a little
Squeezing
fast.
some table tennis and some basketball mixture.
All right, guys. All
All
the
the best in
best.
August, and again, we'll have you back on the show after those qualifications, and we'll be tuning in and watching, cheering on Team Jamaica.
All right. Great having you guys.
I might just pop down to Herbert Morrison on Monday.
He says he wants to try out.
Yeah.
So sign him up for the slot
No,
101.
Point guard,
actual
point
trials
guard.
is the 5th and 6th at the indoor arena.
Yeah.
You
right.
can come there.
Say he's
All right.
the backup point guard, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
That was Coach Rick Turner, the Jamaica basketball team, and the president of Jamaica
Are we on the air now? Connect
Yeah.
us. Connect us back. No, it's not. Come to St. George, please. Let me know when you're.
Go.
Welcome
Go.
back.
Sorry for that. We had
Well,
a bit of technical difficulties as controversy boss come on. I don't know.
I
Controversy.
think it's a censorship. It's a censorship. They're trying to keep me.
Please keep
they're
it
trying to
going.
keep me off here.
Yeah,
They're trying to keep me off here.
Sorry for that, but we're back now, and I mean,
This is what we need, freedom. A man can't talk. He cut me off. Cut me off just as I come on. Anyway, the big talk in Jamaica nowadays is the exodus of the athletes. What's going on? I was hoping Dale was here when we were having the debate, because Dale has been saying that it's good for the athletes to just leave based on the money that they're getting. It's just good. Any amount of money, just buy out the thing and just go. But I have news for Dale. I feel that no athlete got there by themselves. I feel that we're all here by a system that produces athletes. I think that Jamaica produces more athletes than Barbados or Guyana for a reason. We invest in athletics, and I feel that everybody is there for the good and graces of the government and the system that we put in place. So I believe there's some loyalty that is deserved that got you in that position. I believe that Mr. Powell, when he was at Oberlin High School, Charlemont, he benefited from the system in some way. And certainly, had he not benefited from the system, he would have been in the Bagwalk Gorge to this day, selling long mangoes. and therefore, he owes something to Jamaica. And therefore, my solution is that we should tax the people. Rather than sign over, when the time comes for approval from the Athletics Commission, I'm going to demand 60% from them before I allow them to leave Jamaica and seize their passports. I remember Pernell Charles saying he's going to seize passport. I'd be seizing their passports. They're not leaving Jamaica to go sell out for $100. Freeze bank accounts. That's just my opinion. As in, I'm a strong believer in freedom. So I'm just exercising my freedom. Where were you guys last night? Big thing in athletics. Shelly Ann's last race. Shelly Ann pushing 38, 39. And like a true hero, Shelly Ann left out the long hair, the green hair, the red hair, the orange hair, and decided to just come as Shelly Ann. And I tried not to write down her name, Shelly Ann Fraser Price, here, because the spelling is in doubt. But Shelly Ann was able to show up and gain third place on the team. And that's a major struggle, Kane. Some of us have been counted out for years. They're trying to fight us out of the sports, or they representing the country. And Shelly Ann actually came back against the Clayton twins, Sherika, and a massively stacked field. Each of them have at least 10, some 15 years younger than her. And to see that performance come from Shelly Ann tells us that cream always rises. Eh? Yeah. It's an inspiration to me. The next big race was the men's 100 meter with Kishian going over in Seville and so on. And we learned something about Seville. Seville is a choker. Seville was under stress before the race. I could see it in his body. And he came out and he delayed the race, something we need to talk about. Because I'm not sure Seville should have delayed the race. And that race affected other people. You remember the famous race with Asafa Paul in it and yes, and how much it affected the other runners? You can see how much the behavior of one athlete can affect the others. But I must give credit to Seville, because Seville, who was about to suffer what is known in the track field as Asafa Powellitis, he was about to choke even before the race. He was able to rescue it. And I want to break it down a little bit, because Seville, realizing that this was his future, because if Seville never made this, it could possibly be damning to his career. And Seville braved it out and walked up and down the track and tried to find it. Because the question is, was the cramp physiological or was it psychosomatic? Was it mentally brought on? And if you notice, the masseuse came and give him 2 little thump, boom, boom, and say, try it now. And I have to give credit to the coach. The coach made an assessment. Was that the great, what's the name of a ball coach? Was that the great Glenn Mills? I think we saw greatness, you know. Glenn Mills made a decision and say, big man, run. Most of the commentators were saying, don't run, how unsafe it is to run. But I have something to tell the whole honest. Running is safe. We're all such cowards. Nobody wants to run, we want to risk it. Nobody wants to play a football match, we don't want to risk the player. You notice this kind of thing? Policemen, they shoot the next man. I was scared for my life. Why are you in policing? Why are you in running? Why are you in football? You can't play sports without, it's a part of sports, right? And I'll tell you something, it is when you're under pressure most that you get these injuries, you know. Can't have a back injury, ask him how it come about.
Pressure.
Pressure, bursts, pipes. That's all I have to say. And let me move on now. One more time, sports commentary get in trouble for saying something, right? And I'm going to get in trouble again because this is about the fourth week, fifth match I'm calling for McLaren to be fired. Coach McLaren, time to let him go. He is hapless. Hapless. He's hapless, clueless, and he's playing Ludi with the football team. He's guess spelling and guessing. And the last drubbing from Panama shows you he has no idea how to set up a team formation, how to select a team, what adjustments need to be made. Why don't players, other than Ravel Morrison, understand that somebody should be in the center of the park to connect the front and the back? This guy can't get it together. And I'm saying he has a nice personality doing him, laugh at everything. The other day, about 3 weeks ago, I saw him go in the stand against some team we were playing. It's probably Guatemala. And the coach went in the stands and abandoned the team. I put it to you that he has always abandoned the team. Does he live in Jamaica? I've never seen him. Does he live in Jamaica? Do you know? It's a shame that we have a foreigner living in America or living in England or Ireland who is calling the shots for the team. The coach have to live here. It has to be a rule. You can't, I mean, you basically have to live here to coach a team here. Or you going to pick people from here? Subject number 4, UFC 317 is tonight. Big fight. You guys might not realize how excited I am. But one more time, this is a chance to earn some money. Ilia Topuria from Spain will be fighting against Charles Oliveira in UFC 317 for the vacant lightweight title. Israel Makachev leave the title, you know, because he's putting on too much weight. So he left the title alone. He had beaten Oliveira before. Topuria step up to go and fight now. What makes the fight so interesting? Topuria have the strongest stand-up game that we have seen in UFC for a lightweight. In other words, standing up and striking. I don't see anybody can match him. And I have no doubt he's going to thump down Oliveira once or twice. Oliveira is going to face the fire. But I believe that Oliveira, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, once Oliveira gets to grapple with him, and Topuria has great submission resistance, you know. It's not easy to take him down. But I believe that's the exciting part of the fight. I believe that Oliveira is going to find a way, because Oliveira have the heart of a champion, you know. When you come from the favelas of Brazil, poverty, and versus Topuria, who come from Spain. But when you put it on the line, I believe that Oliveira will show the quality of a champion. He's going to take down Topuria in round 4. And my computer don't say 4 or 5, it's 3.9. But he will take him down in about round 4 and choke him out. Topuria was been taken down once in his life, and he couldn't get up. And that is where I've been analyzing their careers coming up, you know. It takes me many nights, sleepless nights, to work out what these results would be. That's what makes me the greatest predictor of all time. And I predict that UFC 317 will go towards Charlie Oliveira by submission, round 4. Bet the house, bet the farm. And finally, I need to say, there's a song by Skilly Bang, Scope on my Glock. Some gun sound when it clap. Whop, 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 whop. 4 love for Jamaica. What a whopping, man.
4-1.
4, okay, thank 4-1.
4-1.
And I look back on some whoppings Jamaica's gotten in the past. I saw that we have a 9 love to Costa Rica, you know, in 1999. We have a 8 love, 2014. Did I say it before? With that whopping we got, it's time that the coach retire. Whop, whop, whop. But final thing, low attendance at World Club football. What is causing such an empty stadium in America? Usually when you have a football match in America, there's tons of people, usually Mexican people, Salvadoran people, Guatemalan people watching the football matches. The stadiums are empty. I don't know what's going on.
Ice.
Baby. I don't know what's happening.
Ice?
But I wonder if World Cup next year, because World Cup is coming to America next year now. What's going to happen? Who's going to watch the matches? America, what is happening? Why people are afraid to watch a football match? You're afraid to go to Home Depot. You're afraid to... get it together, man. I believe the US needs to make some suspension of certain behaviors come World Cup football, or World Cup will be empty. You can imagine you out here for a ticket and a man put a handcuff on it and go with you. You go in El Salvador? Call us sports commentary 615-433-5674. What say you?
It is what we start saying. Peter Canada.
Skilly bang.
Scope.
That was interesting.
Wop.
Yeah.
Boss, never shot and controversy.
I think the world are kind of worried about the same World Cup thing. Even Olympics, they're talking about it because they're hosting and it might be a problem. It just might be a problem.
Make America great again.
Yeah, it might just be a problem.
People would need to make America great again. What's going on? Because, yeah, the turnout has been low, and we look forward to, is it World Cup next year in the Olympics? I mean, I myself want to make the trip. Yeah, I think I'll be safe because I plan to come back home anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other things Peter touched on, and I mean, from football to track and field to, what is it, MMA?
Yeah.
That's a bold pick though, Peter. I must say, Charles Oliveira. I think I said it. I know he's not the favorite.
But what I'm putting my expertise on
the computer. I want to know where you have that computer. People want to come and look for that computer that you have that. Because you do have a 99.9% prediction rate. So people, I wouldn't say bet the house and the farm, but you can put out a little thing about it. Yeah. All right, so Dale, we're going to take things off before we have Froggy in 5. I think we need to give Froggy more than 5 this weekend. He's doing a lot of talking. And I think he miss us. Because he's been talking to us and saying a lot of things. He always have a lot to say in the group. So I wanted to express it to the people. So we're going to bring our Froggy in 5 in a few. I mean, this time around, doing his what you call it?
What?
It's words in the liquid. What's the word? Yeah, Peter, you know all these words. Soliloquy. And doing Froggy's presentation. In Froggy's presentation, I promise I won't say anything until him stop. Because I usually cut him and say, Froggy, what do you mean?
Yeah, let's make him run. Make him run this time.
All I want to know the information to the people.
I'm sure you want to before
Peter, your thing echoing. But Kane, last week I was listening for about 2 minutes because I was busy. You agree with Peter take last week?
With about,
like you were agreeing. Yeah, you were.
No, I am saying that.
It's not like you're siding with Peter.
No, I am saying I'm agreeing with you both. Give me the opportunity, I will go to Turkey. But as from an administrative standpoint, you can't just take my athlete and just run off. So if you want to take him, you have to give me something. Yes. Okay. Peter said 60%, and I said 80%.
60%.
And I said 80%.
Have we got some communist thing I deal with then?
Well,
yeah, that's what you deal with.
Great too.
So we have to change government. We have to change former government.
But even so, you can just up and come and take my athlete. Just hand over my athlete just like that. And I mean, coming from the system.
Oh, because
and Peter touched on a point as well.
They come through the system.
Guyana don't have so much athletes that we have.
Oh, hold on, you get
there's a system that we have coming from champs, primary. We produce these athletes. These athletes rise. They come to, and then now to up and switch in the country because we can't provide 5. But the thing is, I think governing body IWF.
So if you want tax, if you want to tax the athletes, then you tax people who want to get jobs are foreign too.
Yeah.
Oh, so you do it. Okay. Well, if you keep it level like that, no problem.
Right,
because you can say Jamaica educate you and you're gone and now we make millions of dollars, tax them to them.
Yeah.
Okay, well you have to change up things then. It can't be as free as you think now, Peter.
No, but I mean,
because a different style of governance now.
Yeah, but even so, I think where the problem lies is that the rules of the IWF
too open.
You can't just switch like that. Or even switch. An offer being made to you like that. You can just come and say, hey, I'm gonna give you $500,000. 30K monthly, even expenses, medical expenses. If you compete for my country, which Ali wouldn't go? I would go.
Yeah.
But if I go, I know that hey, something have to go back to the country or where I'm coming from.
But you think
I can't just sign a paper and say, okay, Dale Parham, you're free to go and
Represent who?
represent Turkey.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
put my signature. We wish you well. No, something has to be given back.
A transfer fee.
Yeah, to the whether it's the J3 trade.
The J trade deserve.
Fund.
Yeah.
Where sports ministry, ministry of education, ministry of sports should get something or something, and then it filter down. Hopefully, it go in the right hands. That's the next problem too as well.
And they keep asking the president if him should.
So I agree to do both.
If him won't block that athlete, that don't make no sense.
I wouldn't block the athletes, but if you take my athlete, then something has to be. I have to get something in return. It's business, isn't it? Business.
Yeah, it's
Sports
transaction.
The reason why the athletes move on is because of business. So what J3 running? A business.
Okay.
So it's all a business. Then you would it like a business.
No, it sounds like you were siding with Peter.
No, I'm
That's
saying with the board. Because ask me, would
make
you go?
sure.
Would you
Huh?
go?
Of course.
Would you go?
No, but if I'm in
You have to pay the-
hold
you have
on,
to pay-
if
you have
I'm
to
in the
pay the-
position of Hibberts, the triple jumper who have whole part endorsement deals, I wouldn't go anywhere because Jamaica is a brand.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to Turkey.
Yeah.
If I'm Bolt, I'm not going anywhere. If I'm Shelley, I'm not going. If I'm like the Regina, yeah, of course.
And Roger is
Yeah,
still-
yeah. But
I mean, but I would go, but
You guys sound like modern day slavery.
I just said this sketch. It's about 1 minute a catch, and it's so like Peter was convincing you last week.
no, it wasn't convincing me. No, it wasn't convincing me. What I'm saying, I was showing him the light. I was
Okay,
saying that,
okay,
why
all
did you
right.
come with the 60% thing? I'm
Okay,
saying
okay, you-
Something, some transfer fee have to take place.
All
If
right.
you do it like a business, then all right, business. Send on some money then.
All right, people.
Froggy in 5, Froggy. Might as well, Froggy in 7.
I don't think
We have an overtime show.
it's not
Froggy
just,
in 10.
it's just about the money with the athletes. It's about the development as well. So you just don't just transfer and just pay J3 some money or whatever. I believe that if Turkey will be taking the athletes, then help with the development of Jamaican athletes, the younger ones, because we are developing our athletes to represent us, but you want to take our athletes. So if you're going to take our athletes, then give us some money and then help with the medical fees as well. Help us with whatever issues J3s are having, help to solve that issue. Give us like 30% of your medical program. If our athletes get injured, we can send them over there and you work on them for us or something.
What if the athletes aren't injured? You have to
But
get something
why
to
would
as
Turkey
well.
want to help us and them want to take our?
So why you want to take our athletes then?
No, it's not a help.
That's why I
It's
agree
not a
with
help, it's
Peter,
a-
block them.
No, it's a business, and then we've cut off business after that.
I
You
block
take my
them.
athlete, you get me some money. And that's
I
it.
don't want your money. I want you to help me fix the problem. With money, not, you just said, the money not going in the right hands.
But no, but money can fix.
But if you
fix
fix
the
the
problem.
problem, Froggy, how Turkey
Help
will
to
get the
fix the
athlete
problem.
them? Then now get them again.
That money that we get, we can
So-
produce
so-
four
so-
more
so
those,
it's not-
four more of those athletes.
Anyway, the Turkish athletes are costing as well. Where all this money come from?
Yeah.
Okay, then
They want superstars,
Yes,
but we produce
where all this money
superstars.
come from?
We produce the superstars.
Okay.
The biggest
Anyway,
Go on, Inter.
JFF, McLaren, Reggae Boys. Boy, well, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
What he told us.
This team not going anywhere.
Where?
Team telling the guys some long time. We're not going to World Cup.
We're not going to work out.
30% chance.
So finishing third in the group. Oh, I was
30%.
supposed to cut you. Go ahead.
30% chance. And to be honest, Peter, I disagree with you. I don't think we have the time right now to fire the coach. If we fire the coach, we're going to get a new coach. We're in the summer period now. Most of the players are on holidays. They start going on holidays now. Then they're going into pre-season. Then league starts in September. Same time World Cup qualifier starts. You will not get any of these players between now and September. So if a new coach come in, you're stuck with JPL players. You're not going to get any English league player right now. Any friendlies.
But you're saying our chances are slim, so why not start fresh with a new coach?
We don't have the time.
What? But we're not going to make it according to you.
We don't then stay where you're there.
No,
Stick
rebuild.
with it. No, you don't need the time to rebuild. Rebuild after the World Cup.
But so we're not going to make it. So
We're not
why-
going to make it, but we can't
based on
fire the
what you
coach
say,
now. We're
what
not.
you
But
say.
there is no time to fire the coach. So easily,
There's 90 minutes each game.
we're not going to get no game between now and September.
I don't think you
Even
should
if we
fire the
get
coach,
friendly
though.
If we get friendlies now, we're not going to build a team with any form of chemistry, which is what is the issue Jamaica's team has been having.
How can the coach and he's overseas? So what?
It's the same thing with the
Zoom,
players.
it's
How
like
can
how
we,
the Zoom now
Oh, so
and
it's
Joel overseas.
Or it's like some writing business, right? And text and
the issue?
Everything is virtual.
I think the issue is not just the coach, it's the entire setup from JFF coming down. The entire setup
Jamaica
is
will
incorrect.
qualify for it.
And I remember telling you guys last year that there's an issue in the camp and nobody wants to talk about it.
What's that issue?
And the issue come up again, and we would have speed confirm it. There's problems in the camp.
It's probably in a lot of
There's
camps.
a problem with the coach. Players have issues with the coach. They had issue with Grimmy. They have issue with Paul Hall. Now they have issue with McLaren. Senior players within the camp feel like them run the thing.
You see why the
Them
communist thing I tell you
supposed
about?
to
Too
make
much
the
freedom,
decisions
as Peter
within
said.
the team itself. You have a Ethan Pinnacle who decides, personal reasons, I'm not playing. You're gone. You know about me and the Liam Bailey thing already.
Everybody, most people.
You just come back in the team,
Get
coach
your
take
number
care,
and
just get your number back and walk on the
So
field
the
and
problem
start
is the
playing.
president of the association. Then.
Problem is the whole setup.
The president is a problem.
The whole setup.
My cricket, the cricket is a
The
problem.
entire setup.
No, but he's the one who controls the entire setup.
You think so?
Of course.
Do you think this could have happened
So
under
who's the-
board
who-
administration?
Who's the leader?
Do you think this could have happened under board
No,
administration?
So you're telling me that the players them are dictate to the coach?
Yes.
And the,
Me not tell you, but-
and the president know about this?
You just said nothing for the communist mentality that I have.
No, but I'm saying the president of the
Me
league.
tell you,
You just not coming from a communist mentality. You're going back to my.
the players are
Liam
dictate.
Bailey and the same Ethan Pinnock. and
All of them.
Call them shots
There's a
from
big
owner
issues.
shots.
There are issues within the camp itself.
You call the
So
owner shots.
when I look at it, these players have been together for like the past 6 years, give and take a couple of years. They
Give a
changed.
whole heap of time that
They
though.
changed 3 different coaches, and the playing style of the team don't change. So why you fire the coach? It's not a coach problem. The players are the problem. These players play week in, week out, every single week for their club. Different tactics, different position.
So how are you going to fix the players?
You can't fix the players. They get rid of them.
And then who plays?
And then the same issue come back again.
Yeah, so
Players is the coach is not the problem. The players are the problem. There's
some of
no
the players are the problem.
there's no discipline within the Jamaica setup.
How can them not make, they make more money at them clubs so that there's no need
When they
for
come on and
Jamaica?
put on
Okay.
the jersey too heavy.
Yeah.
So do you think players like, so for instance, Amar Bell and like them?
You have a few. You have
Do you
a
think that don't you think they're committed to the
you have a
cause?
few who are committed, and
Casey
then you have
Palmer.
a few who just don't care.
Them have no
So the-
interest
so you're
because
saying the
there's
few
no
that don't
incentive.
care,
There's no
though.
Nothing
incentive.
for them.
The few that don't care is the issue.
Mash up the program.
Okay. And you have an idea who these are?
Yeah, but we're not gonna talk it.
Frag it. I think the problem is the president.
It's not the president. They
Um,
can change the president.
the
But
president,
even so, these
the-
players are the problems. Who will get rid of these players?
The president, the technical director, and the
Who
coach
do
is
you
the
think can get
problem.
rid of these players?
All three of them.
The coach can get rid of them?
No.
Okay.
So it have to come from the top.
So that deal is saying that's the
President,
problem.
the
If
technical
president
team,
don't put down
everybody.
the
President
foot,
and the technical director and the coach is the problem.
What about the Minister of Sports?
She
No,
can't-
no, I don't
No,
think
she's
I
not.
know.
Football is outside of politics.
But to be honest, the program
That's
itself.
not
illegal.
going to the
That's
politics.
illegal. JFF cannot be a part of no political thing. No man, the president, the president and the TD
The thing is,
and the coach is a
this This is
problem.
the issue they're having. Everybody trying to please.
You get rid of the players and go
They're
for
trying
some
to
more
please
people
the
hungry.
players. They're trying to please the fans.
I want
They're
to go
trying
on your
please the
point. So
program.
for example, say for instance, Sir Alex Ferguson, and him go in that locker room, right? Man use your side, or was, I don't know if they're still your side.
Nah, that's it.
They're in the championship now? Where they playing? They're still in the Premier League. But yeah, back to Sir Alex Ferguson. If he had a problem, and him go in the dressing room, and him state that problem, and things don't shape up, what would Sir Alex
The
Ferguson
thing
do?
about it,
What would he do?
get rid of the player.
Probably
We
in a
see-
violent manner as well. Throw boots
Doesn't
in the
mat-
face and
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Which he has done before.
Yeah.
So,
But the thing is,
though, he has gotten the reins from the board and people.
he has the
make
free
decisions.
reign.
Yeah.
But the problem is that does Coach McLaren has the free reign to do what he wants to do?
No, but Coach McCarron want to
He
make sure him
doesn't.
pocket.
He doesn't. So at the same time, you can't blame the coach if him don't have the free will
Yeah, okay.
to carry forth his
So back
own
to what
ideas.
Daly
No, I blame the coach too.
Can't blame the
Just like how
coach.
Peter blame Whitmore for staying in the position knowing that him have him handicap, him can't.
Right now,
really
I
do
feel
him
like
on.
bring back Tapper.
So what's it, who you put here? Reduce speed?
But
Reduce
top
speed
one
now,
not gonna
take the
survive.
check.
It's the
But
same
top-
thing you say gonna happen.
Because they
How
don't
about
have the
Chris
free
Butler? How
reign.
about Chris
That will never happen. They leave that alone.
What that would be an ideal coach.
But
No,
that man
that-
is,
that-
that man is
I
my
think,
way of the
I
highway.
think currently
That-
under this
that my-
environment, Butler is a
My
Butler
way
is
of
a
the
man.
highway. If Butler see
Butler
something
can't
going on, you
even,
know,
Butler can't even coach a JPL team.
No, but
He
I'm
can
just saying
coach
the
Jamaica team.
mentality.
So why Mike Ricketts don't get rid of all of these troublemakers in the team?
Michael is a figurehead, you know.
Froggy, come on, man.
My
The
cricket is a
results.
figurehead.
The results of the Gold Cup. We were not impressed. We had a disappointed tournament. I mean, losing 4-1 to Panama. We beat Guadeloupe 2-1.
We never get four love under Tapa against Panama.
Three in a
In
stadium.
stadium.
One
That was
bag
with the whole
you can't. You always talk. The one
whole
bag
ref-
English.
yeah.
Him and Paul, all the English league player, them
All
come in
English
and put them
players
on the
and
field.
Local players.
He didn't select the team. Him talk about it.
Guatemala beating us for the first time in
17 years or something like that.
probably 70 years. The whole long. Guatemala don't beat us.
Let me ask you
17 years.
something before we move on. Don't you
Even in
think-
Gold Cup competition, it's the first victory of us in the Gold Cup competition. And that to me, that was a disappointing result. But looking forward, come September, October, November window, to qualify for the World Cup, looking ahead with the players that we have.
Issues we
You
have.
saying we're finishing third in the group?
What's our playoff?
The playoff.
No,
Yeah,
second is a
playoff.
playoff, not third.
Second?
The winners of the group
30%. And second place is playoff
and
and third place out.
two second place teams will go to the Ocean region.
Okay, the
try and
issue we
qualify
have,
again.
when I look at McLaren has only really added around 4 persons to this team. You know. Mason Holgate, Isaac, Burrell, and Tyrese Campbell.
We need to find one.
You mean
or
overseas
two.
players?
Yeah, it's the same group of players coming up, and the results don't change. And you change 3 different coach. So if you change 3 different coach and the same group of players and nothing will change, what is the problem?
Tell me the two.
We're just not good then.
Tell me the two top English. No, the two top English ball I want to say would have definitely a show like so them want to play football.
Bobby Reed.
Bobby Reed.
Bobby
Yes.
Reed coming
Always
to
say
the
Bobby
team.
Let's
Reed.
give me two.
Bobby
Bobby
Reed.
Reed.
I mean,
Bobby Reed.
All right, so you know what the coach must do? Get rid of everybody else and go
Build a
for
team around
some
Bobby Reed.
hungry man. Some people are hungry.
But you're
Oh,
not
oh,
playing
oh,
the hungry men.
No, hold on. That's what I'm saying to you. The change that you need to make. Get 2 or 3 at the Englishman them where you're no committed to playing football are representing.
I think Glenn Keys are committed.
Let me
Yeah.
see Gregory.
And just start
Gregory,
digging. See, start the man them are hungry and not the money. I want to make a name. That's what I'm saying. Start the man them are hungry. I've a three.
Cephas.
I've 2 men in the middle from England and one in the back or one on the wing back. And you have the hungry man.
For me, it's just too
Wait, so
easy.
the result, that won't change. If it
It's not going to change, but at least you're going to get more of a fight.
The issue,
Yeah.
you don't know me already. I'm not sold on results. Yeah, you can win.
you're
Liam
sold
Bailey
on
should be
I'm
out
not
of this
sold on
team, right?
results.
Liam Bailey is one of the ones you think that
Yeah,
is causing.
yeah.
So get rid of them.
Right, number one.
I don't think he
And I've-
should be a permanent
I've said this
figure,
before.
a starter in the team. He can
The
just walk
day,
back in the side.
the day when Coach McLaren welcomed him back into
Yeah,
the
to
team
me, that's
was
when
the
lose
day
the
when
team.
everything went downhill.
Yeah, man, lose it.
Because a lot of players did not agree with it.
I think you're right.
And a lot of players did not want to play with him.
And we say here
And
with
it caused
that.
a bad feeling, a bad vibe.
And
And
that
that
is-
just walk up on the team. Fine, you're your own big money. Walk up on the team. I can't stop you.
Yeah.
But what I can do is stop you from walking back into my team and going into my
Even if you
starting
come in, you
lineup.
come
Just
bench.
like that. You
Rub
can't
the
hold a man
bench.
to do what I'm hungry. You know. But how can I put you on the field and start you again? And
know-
you walk
and
out
make it
on me?
worse. Now they're building the team around
Whether it's
him.
for personal reasons, the team leader, whatever reasons, you say, all right, you need a break. Fine. Well, nothing is written in stone. We'll forgive your comeback. But you can't just come back in my
You can't
side.
forgive him. You're supposed to apologize to the public.
Public, the team. You're supposed to
You think these guys actually want to get better at football?
I think them reach.
Better at which football?
Them reach.
Jamaican football, they don't care about the program, you know.
To me, off the field, I don't think them really want to play better football.
So you really think we're not qualifying for
They're
World Cup,
distracted. They're distracted between the parties that them are put on and the this and the that. I think them distracted. No man, for real. If you really look, if you know, say you want to do this thing here, you gotta commit yourself fully to the thing. You're not gonna be out there with 10 different things and do at the same time. No.
I mean, you can have a little bit of downtime, but I get what you're saying.
I don't think Messi and Ronaldo, I don't think the great ones them operate like that. That's
don't.
why
But
we
them
can't hear from whisper from how long now.
He's in training.
Camp.
Are the same
Camp,
thing.
man,
You know, some did a surgery last year, so I'm in training now.
No, man, I don't think them committed to playing this football thing.
Recovery.
I think
Chelsea won't release him.
Although
to come
me,
play
I
for
was
Jamaica. It
advocate
make no
for them
sense.
to get
Just come
money.
off a surgery.
You can release him to go and party.
the money are the
Him now
problem.
playing football.
Yes, and it's easy.
Yeah.
Them don't have no incentive. Them have nothing to play for now. Them just enjoy themselves.
We're qualifying
That is
for
the
World Cup.
problem.
We're qualifying for it.
Oh.
Oh,
We're going to Jard Curacao in Curacao. Go win. I tell you, ask me how I can answer the question.
Yeah, answer it.
Answer question.
We're beating Trinidad home and away.
Huh?
We're beating Bermuda home and away.
Yeah.
We're drawing with Curacao in Curacao. And we're beating Curacao in the stadium 2-1. I just tell you how.
I like
We
what you
have a
said.
favorable group. We've had a tougher group, I don't see how. But with this group,
We were
to
supposed
me,
to come
I
out of this
think we
Gold
play
Cup
good
group.
against Trinidad. I think Trinidad
Alright, so
we play good against
You
Trinidad.
realize that
Bermuda, you see Bermuda beating us for come on.
I don't see us beating anybody.
Is that the
You know
last
that Guadalupe
game?
game.
Is that the last one?
You know,
That
sir.
is the last
You know,
group.
sir.
The winner of
Actually,
the group qualifies. The winner of this 4-man group qualifies. You have 3 groups, and the winner of each group qualifies. The group that we're in, and if we come second in the group, the 3 groups, the 2 best second place teams will play in the Oceanic region.
Them really want Jamaica qualify.
That's what
Man.
I'm telling you. We get Trinidad, Bermuda, and Curacao. The Curacao the real test. The Curacao the real test.
no,
And I think that we have Trinidad. I hope we don't let them go, but I think we have Trinidad.
We don't have
And then
nothing. We
if
don't
I
have
go to
nothing.
the stadium, because we're going in. If we go stadium and Bermuda beat me in the stadium, you know, I don't promote violence, you know. I don't promote violence. I don't promote suicide. But they better not be selling bottled beverages in the stadium or any plastic. They have to sell people in plastic cups. Because what can I won't do it, but I know
Bermuda?
I know people that are, you know, very passionate. 80,000, about 80,000 or 46,000, something about. But I don't promote these things, but I know people who are very passionate. And if they have a Pepsi bottle in there, and
Reach it down there.
it's reaching it, and then you go to Jamaica bad light. So I tell the promoter from now, don't sell any plastic bucket. Because Bermuda cannot beat Jamaica in state.
No, this is
I'm not knocking Bermuda.
this is the
Bermuda want
easiest.
to go to World Cup.
This is the easiest
But-
qualification ever seen.
Easiest.
It's
And you
almost a
said
joke.
30%? No.
30%.
My kind of a fine away.
No, I increase it. It's 50% for
30.
No, I
The
said
reason why I tell a church,
said
actually, I really know 30. I used to say 70, but 30%.
70%.
Because
We're
the
gonna
thing is,
we're gonna fight Trinidad and us always ding dong.
and Trinidad.
So we know
Trinidad,
that
they are
even if we're
improving.
better than Trinidad, the fact that we know each other is just one of them
They are
rivalries.
improving.
No, but
They
we
know
always
gonna
had
make
thing,
no-
and them,
Aye.
I was a slight a bit ahead of
This is
them.
the problem I have with
And
it.
Trinidad now play a host of ball because them get 5 over there. So them kind of in the same boat with we, but
Yeah.
we kind of have a paddle that kind of out there.
So curious,
So
so you're worried
Trinidad-
about.
Trinidad, Trinidad draw with Saudi Arabia. You know.
Yeah, but them get 5 love
Who
from.
must Saudi Arabia give we?
No,
All right,
different
so-
kick, no.
What do you mean?
All right, well,
Listen
move
to
on.
me.
We'll move on to the
Trinidad have them own problem.
trials.
Yeah, well, in 5 minutes today,
The greatest athlete of all time, Shelly and Fraser Price.
Grace, whoa.
Greatest female athlete of all time. I give her over Simone Biles. I give it to Shelly. Of course. I give it. Well, it's my opinion.
So she's
Yeah, but Shelly making the team last night was a good thing.
10-9-1.
Yeah, even though Tia pull up, but yeah.
It's a father time of Mother Nature, but I mean, Shelly's all of them are above. Shelly has defied, I wouldn't say the odds, but I mean, she's always in the mix. To make the top 3 was,
She know what to do at the right time.
yeah.
She
Even
get it
though
right at the right time.
I said this is our best time so far for the season, not sharp, race sharp, but I mean, to me, that was the highlight of the day yesterday, even though Kishane Thompson now becoming the 6th fastest man all time. I mean, young Tina Clayton resurging, although she was injured last year and watch her sister make the team. Her sister got injured in that race, running 10.81 now, top 10 fastest Jamaican female of all time. Also another highlight. I mean, Peter touched on oblique Seville. Some people saying that he has anxiety issues. It was, I mean, when it comes to that big time,
Peter, I
it's
know,
how
sir,
it
I
seems
agree
to
with you.
cramp up. You agree with me?
I feel it's a fluke, you know. I feel
But
like him
even
fake
so-
it, you know.
Fake
I
it,
feel
right
him
now.
fake it.
I mean, he run one of the fastest times he ever run, 9.83, because his PB
Yeah.
is 9.81. So 9.83 is not far from that. In the semifinals, he ran 9.84 and showed a bit of, lingering in the race. Just before the race, he had all these jitters again. I don't know what to make of that if it's anxiety.
What they
or
saying?
just-
Cramps?
or-
I don't know. They say cramps in the
Reoccurrence of
hamstring.
injury.
You
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
it and him start to cry. And I feel like
Yeah,
him just,
if you saw the race,
The semi-final race, him kind of buck a little bit. Like with 15 meters ago, him
just
kind of.
before the final was a delay to the final race. And,
10
he
minutes.
he was in shambles, looking like I was saying that he shouldn't compete.
I was saying that
Touch
just
the rest.
when I started, I was saying that just go out there and run. You don't need to win.
Bert
Just
and Cameron.
run and
Yeah,
keep
you don't want
pace.
to get an injury that will sacrifice whole career, because
You know, if I'm
you have to
never,
be explosive in the middle of the race.
yeah, you know, so if he never run last night, he would have to hide from social media.
No.
And the media. No, I'm not. I'm telling you.
Jamaican people
I'm
are forgiving.
telling you, he would have to hide.
No, Jamaican people are very forgiving. Look at Liam
Forgiving?
Bailey. Look at
Who?
Liam Bailey, people forgiving.
No, man. No, this is different. No, this is different.
Yeah, look at the Safa.
No, no.
times
It's,
the
it's
people never
only
said-
females alone
female.
went to that Safa.
No, man.
No,
I'm in the stadium.
Apart from
Peter.
Christopher Marsh, only
Hey, I'm in the stadium.
a Safa Paul
I'm
fan.
in the stadium.
But it's
And
only the girls cheer for a Safa.
Shelly get a big uproar. You see them both big uproar. You know who get the biggest uproar in the stadium?
Oblique.
Asafa Paul. The biggest uproar I've seen from a track at Eastern Stadium. The man is loved.
Peter,
I don't agree with it.
this is in recent times. Yes, and we'll get that from the whole stadium now. In
I've
recent
never heard
times.
Asafa get booed in the stadium.
Can't get blue.
I hear the big man get booed in the stadium.
And both got booed in the stadium.
Big, and Asafa never get booed in the stadium
Remember the
yet.
big trials, you know, where
Gentle people, we're not anti-Asafa. I mean, I heard a term earlier. Was it Asafa Paulitis?
Paulitis.
Paulitis. I mean, I've never heard it before. But yeah, so Jamaican people are very forgiving. I don't think Oblique Seville would have been thrown under the rug.
I don't think so. I think well,
it's just an
you have to
injury.
remember that Asafa was a world record holder. Asafa put us on the map in terms of sprinting. Doing that. No. You know what I mean?
Sprinting.
Donald Quarry. I give it to
we are
Quarry.
the map.
But
We're talking about
in
it. We are
the
talking
2000s, you know, from Raymond Stewart come up, Asafa, they kind of put us on the map. So he was a crowd favorite because he was a world record holder and him kind of.
So
No, but he was world record holder.
He never made us a household.
But even before we wrap up the show, I forgive us.
The way was paved before.
Okay.
repave the way. He fixed the potholes in the road.
To give a rundown of the women's 100-meter final, Tina Clayton won in 10.81, Sherika Jackson 10.88 second, Shellen Fraser Price 10.91, Jodine Williams fourth 11.02, Johnny Smith 11.06 for fifth, Alana Reid 11.13 for seventh, Ashanti Moore seventh 11.19, and Tia Clayton didn't finish the race in eighth.
So is Tia going to be on
And
the.
if Froggy had a ninth spot, it would be Elaine Thompson. Here,
Of
right?
course.
But I think today's also her birthday, 33rd birthday.
Yeah.
And I mean, 33 is not young, Froggy.
Elaine is coming back, man.
know
Elaine's
what
taking
you
the
say,
year.
but okay.
She follow my opinion. She's taking the year off. She needs
But that's
to
a
recover.
roundup of the female, and I said Tia Clayton now becoming one of the top 10 fastest Jamaican
I
females
hope
all
Tia does
time.
recover though, because
Yeah, I hope
with-
Tia recovers.
What happened to her? Is it hamstring?
yeah, she has some straps on her hamstring before the race. So I just hope she recovers because when I look at this 4x1 for women, this is with Tia and Shelly and Sherika and Tina. I think this possibly will be the fastest female 4x1 team
No.
because
Shirley not in her prime. Shirley
man.
not in her prime. Froggy, just go wrap up the show with it again.
what do you mean by
You know, so we're going
this
to
is
Joel in
possibly
the
the
group.
first time we can
team
find
Let's say Joel in the
The
group.
team
this is no this is
Shelly.
and who else?
It don't matter. Brianna Williams.
Brianna.
Brianna Williams.
This is possibly the first. No, this is possibly the first time in Jamaica's history
Stuart.
we will have a female team
Yeah.
with all women running 10-8.
No, it has been done before.
Which female sprint 4x1 team in Jamaica's
No, a
history has
lot.
been running all 4 women running
All of,
10-8?
every one of them. Every one of them.
CB, Shelly.
Sharon Simpson. Yeah.
Sharon Simpson was running 10-8.
Sharon Simpson won 10 too.
Yes.
That's our PB.
That's not how you pick a relay team.
Yeah.
That's not how you pick a relay.
So you're telling me that this would not qualify the
this is not in
fastest?
the top 5. No.
I don't think so.
Well, coming to the close of the show. Before we close the show, 100-meter finals, Keisha Thompson, 9.75, new stadium record.
Equally.
No,
Blake.
9.76. Blake ran 9.75 in the stadium.
Yeah.
9.75 is
It's a time. I mean, Oblique Seville 9.83, one of the fastest times he has ever run. Akeem Blake ran a good race, finishing third, 9.88. Raheem Ford 9.98 for fourth. Warren Watson fifth, 10.04. Kajan Golson 10.07. Boajen Krumah 10.09. Brian Level walking through the tape at 10.43.
What happened to level?
I mean, could probably cramp up in the race as well after probably a long stop, but he's running the 200 meter. here on this morning and look comfortable. But that was the two big races yesterday. And I mean, looking forward to Tokyo. Barring any injuries, I think Jamaica will stand a good chance.
We'll look better this year than last year.
In the sprints.
In the sprint.
Not in the field, because if you know where the field is. I think Turkey will do better in the field. That's not Jamaica. But I think we'll do better on the track, 100 and 200, 400 yet to be said.
Kishian look ready, right, Fraggy?
Yeah, I have to give him props. Him look.
What?
Yeah, man, him look ready.
Look.
No man, him look sharper this year. Him look like he's working on. No man, he looks like he's working on his start. He's working on the execution. No, the execution of the race was better than previous years. How he executed the
We
race.
shouldn't argue with Fraggy
looks
because
better.
Fraggy is actually an expert. Fraggy run a champs, you know.
No.
I didn't get through that
Oh,
chance.
you were a part
I
of
ran a
it.
Western release. I didn't get through that chance.
Yeah, he was a part of the squad. He didn't
Yeah.
get tracksuit.
Yeah.
You get tracksuit too?
Yeah, man.
No man is a part of the squad.
But his farm look better this year, and it looks like him can go out with something this year.
All right.
Gentle people, come again to an exciting episode. Again, want to big up coach of the Jamaica basketball team, Mr. Rick Turner, and the president of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Mr. Paul Gordon. Again, you know, from
For big up the people I'm from West, you know.
West
on
is
there.
best.
Yes. Fit FM 96.7. You know, the Primal 4K team and family. And we have some of them in the house right here. First time in Jamaica.
in the studio.
Yeah, so you know I forgot to touch some spots now, people.
Yeah, they're leaving tomorrow, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can't sleep tonight.
All
They're on
right.
the road, Jamaican style.
Yes, people. So we're out.
Again, we'll see you again next week, same place, same time. We'll have a run on again of basketball, track and field, football. I mean, a bit of table tennis, you name it. MMA, how to leave out MMA. Also, I mean, ice hockey.
Ice hockey.
Yes, I can't believe it, but again, thank you again. Without you, this couldn't be possible. And again, you have to keep it primal, enjoy your weekend. Watch on sports. See you next week.
Peace.